Hi there, Skeleton Key here. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome whether you are joining me live or whether you are watching this on the replay. And yeah, I know this is really cutting it close for making an announcement. Yeah, I have just been so exhausted. I am still exhausted, so yeah, if I just kind of like look off into space, I'm probably asleep. But anyway, I'm gonna try and get through this. So this is EspionAugust readathon, and let's see, go ahead and get that up here. So last month in July, I was, going through a bunch of my books looking for PI books, private investigator books to read for PI in July. And I also found that I have a lot of spy novels. And I was like, wow, too bad it's too late to do, spies in July or something like that. And I thought, well, I can do that next year. And then a few days ago, I was like, EspionAugust, espionage in August. Okay. So, and I thought, yeah, let's do this. And then every time I thought about doing an announcement, yeah, I just did not have the energy to do anything. But here I am. It's still August 1st, so you've still got plenty of time to read at least one book about spies or spycraft. And so yeah, this is super low key. This is of course the first time I'm doing it. And like I said, I'm just doing this on the spur of the moment. I'm just like, oh, I've got a few minutes before I just pass out from exhaustion. And so let's just do this. And so I have no idea if anyone will even watch this video to know that this is a thing that is existing this month. But if you are catching this on the replay, yeah, I would love for you to join. And maybe we can I can do some shorts or something throughout the month. Assuming I find some energy somewhere, and do some other lives throughout the month, and we can talk about the spy books that we're reading. But yeah, it can be nonfiction, fiction, whatever. There's no firm requirement, although I did come up with a few prompts just in case you're one of those people like me who really appreciates a good prompt for choosing a book. So a little bit of guidance there. And so I came up with 4 prompts, and you can mix and match, double up, triple up, quadruple up if you've got. Yeah, you could. Well, I don't know if they were any nonfiction, but anyway. So the first prompt is to read a book with the word spy in the title, and or spies. That works too. So I am reading Epitaph for a Spy by Eric Ambler. I'm a little partial to Eric Ambler because I found out after the fact, some years later, that when I did a London semester back in the early 90s, Eric Ambler lived like 2 or 3 doors down from me on the same, Bryanston Square. And it was just like, wow. And I have actually one year for NaNoWriMo, I did actually write a spy novel set in London, and I even included Eric Ambler as a character. No, you will never see that book in print. I have no idea how to write a spy novel. I've read a fair number of spy novels, but I do not know how to write one. And it was the result was atrocious and not at all publishable. So I don't think there's anything that can be done to fix it. But yeah, so I researched Eric Ambler a lot, and he's sort of the granddaddy of the spy genre. So I am really looking forward to reading Epitaph for a Spy. And that leads me into the second prompt. Yeah, words just, yeah. Anyway, the second prompt, which this doubles for, because it's by Eric Ambler, and that is to read a book by either Eric Ambler or Jean LeCarre. And yeah, not Ian Fleming. I've read one Ian Fleming book. I read Casino Royale. I listened to it on an audiobook on a road trip. Oh my God. And not even, there's tons of like misogynist cringe and everything. Yeah. But that was, it was just boring for the most part. It was really, really boring. I hated that book. And there was like this one scene where, well, I don't know if it was a scene. I don't know. It took an entire disc. I had it on CD. I had a CD player in the car, and it took an entire disc to play. They were going to play Baccarat, and I was like, wow, okay, this might actually be interesting, because I've always, I've heard of Baccarat, but I don't know how to play Baccarat. I don't know anything about Baccarat. I still don't know anything about Baccarat, because there was this entire disc long scene of Bond playing Baccarat, and it was just him putting money down and either winning or losing. There was no description whatsoever of the gameplay, so I still don't even know what Baccarat is, but they played Baccarat for like what, an hour, something like that, and I'm like, that was just awful. So I'm not going to read anymore. Yeah, and there was plenty of misogyny and all sorts of stuff, and I mean, I like the movies, they're fun, misogyny and all, you just kind of take it for what it is, and it's just a romp. But yeah, I'm not reading any more Fleming. So you can read all the Fleming you want. I'm not going to judge, but go ahead. But I'll probably judge, because I'm really judging. I'm a very judgy person, but I won't say anything aloud. So just go ahead, read your Fleming, whatever. And so what I am reading for that prompt is, oh gosh, they changed the buttons. I have not done a live stream or anything in more than a month. I think probably since around my birthday, and that was in June. So let's see. They changed all the buttons. What is that? I don't know. Let's try that. Oh, share screen. Yay. So here we go. The Spy Who Came In from the Cold. That is what I am reading for my LeCarre, but it also has the word spy in the title, so this one can double up as well. And this is the third. I've read the first two George Smiley books. I'm trying to go in order for the George Smileys, and so I don't really know anything about this. I've never seen the movie. I'm sure there was a movie, right? A lot of his stuff got made into movies, so I don't really know anything about this. So I'm going to go in kind of cold. And it's been so long since I read the first two Smiley novels that I'm not sure I remember anything about them other than, just broad strokes. So that'll be fun. And I think I have that on. Oh, and I'm going to have to borrow that one, I think, because I do not have a copy of that. So then our third prompt, let's see, is a recent release. And you can define recent however you want. There are no prompt police, there's no readathon police. Define recent as, like, within the last century, if you like. But so I am going to read The Summer Guests. And yeah, so I read, this is the second book in the Martini Club series by Tess. I'm not sure if it's Gerritsen or Gerritsen. Gerritsen, I think. I don't know. No, I haven't listened to an audiobook by her, so I wouldn't even have it from that. But anyway, Tess G. I read the first one. I think I got it as like an Amazon Prime book, first reads book, and I just immediately pre-ordered this book because it wasn't even out yet. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it's the Martini Club is let's see. So this is the second book in the series. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the Martini Club series. It's basically this community of spies that retired spies who have kind of gravitated towards this little town in Maine, just looking for a nice, quiet retirement, and much wackiness ensues, of course. And so The Summer Guests is the second book in the series, and looks like book 3 is coming out sometime next year. So depending on how this one goes, I may just have to pre-order that one. But that is, I'm really looking forward to this. I've been saving this because I wanted to read it last month. In fact, this is one that I was like, oh, I'll read this for oh no, that's spies, not PIs. Okay. And let's see, Shadow Friends. But anyway, The Summer Guest is what I will be reading. And so if you have not read anything in the series yet, of course, start with The Spy Coast, which has the word spy in the title, so that doubles up nicely. And let's see, the next prompt is nonfiction. Spycraft, history, let's see. So I am reading Book and Dagger. I don't know, this just popped up in my feed and looked interesting, and so I can't remember if it was like a freebie or I think it was on sale. And so I got that. And so this is the riveting, untold story of the scholars, librarians, and university professors who were recruited as spies during World War II and helped turn the tide of the war. So I think that sounds really interesting. Other nonfiction, and I meant to look up some specific titles, but there are lots of books about Bletchley Park. So, that's spycraft, that's code breaking. And I'm not hitting on all 8 tonight. If I were in better shape, I'd probably be rattling off a bunch of titles for you. But also histories about specific spies and their exploits. World War II, of course, is super popular, but we've had spies in the world for a very long time. So it might be kind of interesting to go back and look for spies from the distant past and find some nonfiction about them. What else? But anyway, those are the 4 prompts. And let's see, stop sharing. That changed. Stop screen. There we go. Okay, so those are and I had a little stack of some other books to recommend. Like I had American Spies, but I can't reach it, and I'm tired. And yeah, um, so I'm sorry if this is kind of a train wreck of a video, but I just wanted to get this out there while it's still August 1st. At least here in Colorado, it is still August 1st. But if you only want to read one book, or only can only fit one spy book into your reading this month, that's perfectly fine. And let's see. So, does The Three Investigators count as spy? I would say no. That would have been perfect for PI in July, last month. And we do have what is it? Shark Reef? I think we've got Shark Reef, but most of them, they are investigators, private investigators. They put out a shingle and everything, and they're not. In most of them, they don't do actual espionage, or what I think of as espionage. But like I said, there's no prompt police. If you want to read a Three Investigators book, and say they go spy on somebody for their client, sure. There's probably some spy work involved in at least some of the books. I don't remember about Shark Reef specifically, but I hope that answers your question. And anyone else who's wondering. So, and yeah, if you have any other ideas, or, like specific titles and authors, LeCarre is big. Eric Ambler, of course, is my go-to for spy novels. Also, what did I have? I had, in the stack, McInnes, Helen McInnes. There's like Message from Malaga. Can't remember where the accent mark is in that. Malagueña. Anyway, I played Malagueña, but in marching band. But anyway, I'm getting kind of weird. So it's probably time to go to bed. But please drop a comment below, and let me know what you're planning to read, or if you've got other recommendations of spy books, novels or nonfiction, or novellas or short stories. Slow Horses. That's another one I want to recommend. I loved Slow Horses. I still haven't watched the TV show. I got to see the sneak preview, that extended opening. But then, of course, it's like, oh, now you want to watch the rest, you need to pay for Apple TV. And it's like, no, I'm not paying for Apple TV. At least not right now. Although now they've got Murderbot. Is Murderbot a spy? Kind of. Yeah, I'm counting Murderbot. Let's see. But Slow Horses, and the name of the author is escaping me. I could look it up, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't have the energy. I do not have the spoons for looking up the author's name of Slow Horses. If you want to drop it in the chat or the comments, please go right ahead. But the first book, Slow Horses, it at least the edition I have actually has a short story in the back. So if you by any chance read the novel but haven't got around to reading the short story, hey, you can count the short story as a separate thing for the purposes of the readathon, if that matters to you. So, but I think that's all I've got right now. And I'm just thank you for bearing with me and my exhaustion. And And I think we can have fun with this, even if it's, totally impromptu and just loosey goosey and whatever. But I hope you'll have fun with it. I know I intend to. Talk at you later.